Hey guys, Nick Eilerman here. Welcome back to the channel. Man, it has been forever since I uploaded a video. I think it's 7 months ago was the last time I uploaded a video, and there's so much that's been going on this year that I thought it'd be cool to put together a video of all the stuff that's happened this past year, all the projects that I've been doing, new things that I've started, things that I've ended, such as DJing. This year is actually my last year as a wedding DJ, and that event was actually on December 5th. So if that's new news to you guys, the last 10 years I've been DJing weddings in Charleston, and so I officially put down my headphones and turntables, closed that all up, and now I'm on a new venture. And if you guys have been watching the channel, you've been kind of getting a hint at it. I've been working on upfitting my Ford Transit to a camper van, and I've been taking out a couple of trips this year. And then with the pandemic and everything happening, it was kind of the right time to take the handyman business, the DIY, the engineer Nick, combine them all together and put them into a new business, which would be Odyssey Custom Vans. So Odyssey Custom Vans is the new business that I'm running, making custom adventure vans. And I'm doing that in this brand new warehouse, which is also where the new studio is, where I'm making this video. But it's pretty exciting. There's so many things that have happened this year that I actually had to write everything down, and it took me about 3 pages. Yeah, I'm gonna try to make this kind of concise about the whole year. If I get out the laptop here, I don't know if you guys have used Google Photos, but what's really nice about it is you can just kind of set it and forget it. And it's gonna take everything off of your phone and just organize it so that all your memories in one place. And we're gonna kind of go back and reminisce on all the things that have happened. I just thought it's the easiest way to kind of show you guys what I'm up to, what I'm getting into this next year as we approach the new year, and also get a video out before the end of the year, because it's been way too long since I've done an update. My family has a mountain house up in North Carolina, and I kind of use it as time to do a little bit of a reset coming back from Charleston. I've been in Charleston, for the last almost 10 years, and it's been a lot of fun. But with COVID happening and everything and all these changes, it took a pretty big hit on the wedding industry. And I thought it was just a good time to make the reset. If you guys have watched any of my DJ videos, you guys know that I'm a wedding DJ in Charleston, South Carolina. That's Nova in the background if you can hear her. Where was I? So I was talking about that I was a DJ in Charleston, South Carolina for the last 10 years and had an awesome time. Got to do just incredible weddings down there. But if you think about it, to actually wrap up weddings, it takes about 2 years, about a year and a half to 2 years to kind of go through all that. For you DJs out there who have been watching some of my DJ videos, let me know if you're interested in any DJ tutorials or DJ business information. So like videos on how to start a DJ business. I've got a couple of videos on here, and I know a lot of people were interested because one of them's got like 10,000 views. But yeah, put a note in the comment. Happy to put together a video on that. But with that being said, it takes about a year and a half, 2 years to actually quit the DJ business. Weddings are booked out so far in advance that if you do decide to move on to a different career, or you're changing something, or whatever happens in life, it takes quite a bit of time. So as soon as the pandemic happened at the beginning of 2020, I got a chance to actually kind of go back and think about what's the next step, what is the next thing that I want to do. And then during that time, as everyone was rescheduling their weddings to the next year or pushing it out 6 to 12 months, I kind of went back to some stuff I like to do, which was the handyman business. So I started a handyman business in the interim, and that kind of held me over until I could actually get back to all the rescheduled weddings. And so during that time, that was all of 2020. So that was all handyman, finishing up weddings, rescheduling weddings. At the beginning of January 2021, that's when I decided to actually make the move and move back to North Carolina. So that's where I'm at currently, North Carolina. And in January, went up to the mountain house. I was able to do a nice reset, and that's where I made a couple of the winter videos you saw me with Nova. And those were awesome. We got some really good snow, and that was just such a good time up there. And then I was able to do a winter hike up at Grayson Highlands. If you guys haven't been to Grayson Highlands, that's in Virginia, you have to go. It's awesome. There's actually wild ponies in the park, and it's pretty cool. Nova actually does a pretty good job with them. She doesn't really mess with them too much. But the winter time at Grayson Highlands is incredible. So I definitely suggest you guys go up there. Probably showing some B-roll right now. There's an awesome video I put together just so you can experience what it's like to do a winter day hike up there. It's a perfect place to do a winter day hike. Moving on down, we actually got into putting together a photo booth for one of the weddings that I did. And it was kind of funny. Through all the reschedules, there was one wedding where we doubled up on photo booth bookings. So I have 2 photo booths, but one we did away with, and so we only had one. And I really wanted to help out this bride and make sure we could actually do her wedding. But the only thing was I didn't have an additional photo booth for that rescheduled date. So, knowing me, I just said, well, I'll just build another one. I've already built 2, so I can build another one. And middle of January, I actually was building a photo booth from scratch. And if you guys are interested in buying a photo booth, I have it for sale. So I'll put some clips of that in here. After I built the photo booth, I got a chance to get back to working on the van, and that's when I put in the diesel heater. So if you guys are interested in van builds and you want to go through as far as a tutorial on how to install a diesel heater in your van, I've got it's almost an uncut video of how to install a diesel heater. It's doing pretty well. I think it's almost got like 1,000 views. But I wanted to make something to where you saw every step of the process. It is about an hour long, so if you're wanting to sit down and watch that, it was pretty fun. I didn't have a garage or a shop, and I'm doing it outside in the snow. So it's a pretty fun video to watch. After that, I decided that I needed to update the floor in the van. And the reason for that, I noticed that there was a step where you walk into the van, and I'd watched a video to where they'd actually taken the floor and extended it out of the van to where the bottom 2 places of the step turned into storage. And you guys know storage is an essential item in a van. The more storage you can get, the better. So I rebuilt the floor out, and I was anticipating on making like a little pad for Nova to sleep on in the center console, but I never got to that. And then what I did after that was I started working on the back of the van, kind of cleaning it up for the diesel heater tank and relocating that to the back because I had it in the kitchen, needed to move it to the back of the van. And then we got into actually working on installing the sink for the van. So got a video on that, and throughout this video you guys are going to see a bunch of highlights. I haven't actually made the videos because I've been working on this warehouse, and we'll talk about that throughout the video. But yeah, working on the van ceiling, new floor, and then we actually got into building the roof rack so I could actually mount the solar panels. So that was a lot of fun because I actually got to start kind of bringing the van to life, installing the electrical system so that we could have lights working, we could have our water system, diesel heater, everything running off of 12 volts. Because we wanted to make sure we were not running it off of the engine battery. We wanted to run it off of our new house battery. So we got that all set up, and then we got our battery system complete. And then it was time to cut a hole in the roof of the brand new van and install the max air fan. So it's kind of a cringy time when you're building a van is to cut a hole in the roof, but it was no problem. We found a really nice day to do it, and we were able to cut the hole in the roof, got everything sealed, and to this day hasn't leaked. It's working really great. I'm having to break this video up so I can stay focused. So after I did the max air fan in the roof of the van, I actually had to go back down to Charleston. This is in April. And I filmed a wedding down there. When I came back, that's when I was actually able to finish up the electrical system. And I knew I was gonna get ready to take this trip to go see some friends. They wanted to go moto camp, so I would drive my van, they would drive their motorcycles to whatever camping spot we found. And I kept looking around and I wanted to find something that was in North Carolina. It's kind of hard because, you know, we've been to Linville Gorge, we've been to Grandfather, Grayson Highlands in Virginia, Table Rock, Shining Rock. So I wanted to go someplace new, and I found this place called Uwharrie. It's known for off-roading, so they got a really cool 4x4 trail. But I wanted to go camping with my van. Right before I went, I had gone and actually cleaned the whole entire van up, wrapped up all the electrical. I painted the tool chest that I have and the cabinet, so it looks really nice. It was like one nice piece. And then yeah, I just want to take the van out, get a couple of pictures so I can show you guys what it looked like, which you'll see in this video finally. But yeah, so we got all the cabinets painted, and we decided to go to Uwharrie. And went to Uwharrie. I spent the first day there with Nova, and then the guys came in. We had an awesome time, cooked a bunch of food, sat by the fire. It was a really good trip. And then, let's see, right after Uwharrie, more weddings. So we got more weddings, back down to Charleston to do a couple of weddings. And then right back into the start of the warehouse. So end of April, beginning of May, that's when I got the warehouse. And it didn't look too bad. Now, that's what happens when you buy a piece of property. You're like, hey, it just needs a little bit of this, a little bit of that. But upon kind of diving into it, there's a whole wall that actually ended up being rotten that we had to completely replace. The wall and the ceiling in this room, this whole entire part over here, was completely rotten, falling in. That's why the door wasn't really standing up too well. Now, I have to say, whoever used paneling and a paint sprayer did a really good job covering everything up. So that was good for you on that. You did a great job. However, after I ripped all that stuff off, oh man, yeah, it was pretty bad. So that really started the journey of going through each part of the whole entire warehouse, kind of making a plan on what to tackle first. And that took me into about the beginning of May. In May, I did something pretty cool. I had to re-gravel the driveway at the mountain house and got to rent a tractor and do all that. Nova had a really good time. She actually wanted to ride with me on the tractor, which is just hilarious, but I'll show you a couple bits of footage of that because that's pretty funny. And right before I left the mountain house to come back down, I built a retaining wall for the gas tank, the fuel tank, for the heater. So I knocked that out, finished that project, and then made it back down to the warehouse. And this is when I got a chance to kind of, again, make a plan, but that was immediately interrupted by going back down to Charleston and DJing a wedding. Came back from the wedding and started working on the shop again. So yeah, a bunch of weddings here, finishing everything. Just a great way to close out the year. Man, I don't know how many hotels I stayed in Charleston, but it was a lot to knock out all these reschedules. There were some weddings that were actually triple reschedules. And not that it was funny to triple reschedule, but at some of my couples' weddings, the sign for their wedding ceremony had 3 dates. So they had the first date, and then they had it slashed out, the second date slashed out, and then the third date. And everybody was taking a picture of it. It was kind of a funny joke. Moving into June, that's when it really started kicking up on the warehouse renovation. In the middle of summer, pretty hot. We worked on stripping the floors, getting all the cabinets out, actually epoxying the floor. So that was really fun. Getting a really nice epoxy floor. And then after that was done, I started to move into actually renovating this office because I really wanted to make this office a good space to work out of. And if you guys have ever done renovations, most of the time, if you don't complete a job and you just kind of move on to some other part, you're never going to come back to it, or it's going to be very challenging to come back to it. Like if you painted a room but you didn't paint the trim. Anyway, if you guys do any remodeling, you know what I'm talking about. If you're working on one area, you need to finish it and then go to the next one. It's hard to kind of jump around. Anyway, the massive renovation started. So the amount of time lapse that I have in here, guys, it's not enough for this video. I'm trying to keep it not too short, but I'm trying to keep this video under about 30 minutes of little catch up here. I will have a full renovation video of the whole entire process of doing this building, so stay tuned for that. It's in the works. So after that, we actually moved into September, and thankfully I was able to get back into doing one more trip before the end of the year. And we went to KOA campground in Black Mountain, North Carolina. And I was pretty impressed with it. It was a pretty nice campground. It's KOA, so it's not too crazy. But they had a really nice site, had a campfire, and some friends did some moto camping there. And I don't have a video for that one. That was just pretty much us just hanging out. I didn't want to film that. As soon as I got back from that kind of moto camping trip, the Adventure Wagon interior install kit came, and this is for the 2 vans that Odyssey Custom Vans has purchased. So we got 2 vans over the summer, and when this Adventure Wagon interior kit came in, it was kind of a signal to, all right, it's time to get to work of building these vans. So that came in right at the end of September, and that really kicked off the difference between working on the shop, doing the renovation, then working on the vans. So I was kind of doing those back and forth. And as soon as the van building started to ramp up, that's when the trade shows started to happen. So the first one that I went to was the Adventure Van Expo in Chattanooga, and I think it was the first one that they've actually had on the East Coast. They have one on the West Coast, but this was the one for the East Coast, and it was in Chattanooga, Tennessee. And it was really awesome. I got to see a lot of vans. I got a lot of inspiration on the builds that I'm currently doing. So that was really nice. It didn't really change my layouts or anything like that, but it was cool to go to that. Came back from that, worked on the vans for about a week, and then I went right back the next weekend to the Overland Expo East, which was really cool. So that was in Arlington, Virginia. And I'd been there before for some music festivals, so I knew the area, but having the adventure vans come out, man, it was really cool. So I'll show you guys right now a couple highlights from that. Just some massive vehicles, really cool stuff. They had the new Bronco out there. And I was so tired from filming the event that Sunday, it was a 3-day event. Sunday before I left, I wanted to do the ride along in the new Bronco, but on some 4x4 trails, but I didn't get a chance. I was too tired. I got in the van and headed back because the whole goal was to finish up this building before the end of the year, before the winter came. So right back to the building, started working on the wall that was completely rotten, put up some hardy board, and after the hardy board was done, I actually had to go work on my own van, replacing the brakes. So that's another video coming out. I went back to Charleston for a wedding. I got to see Jim. If you know Jim, he's the one we did Last Hurrah Garage documentary project with on the 1932 Ford. So check out those videos, they're really popular. So after we met up with Jim, kind of moving on, I got to start working on the property, grading the property to get ready for the fence install. So the plan was to fence out the whole entire property, and with COVID and everything, trying to find a contractor right now is next to impossible. So I ended up building the whole entire fence by myself with the help of my dad. And we got that going. We got a new garage door, and then moving on to the end of October, Halloween, all that good stuff. I had to go right back and do another wedding. Came back from that wedding and worked on the building just a little bit more. And then we took another trip that was very special. My grandmother had her 90th birthday, and we got to celebrate that with her, and that was really cool. She actually got a car for her 90th birthday. The one that she had was not doing too well, and so she got a brand new car for her birthday. And Grandma, if you're watching this, hope you're really enjoying your car. It looks great. I think it's a perfect fit for you. But yeah, she got a new car for her 90th birthday, which is, that's pretty awesome. So after we celebrated her birthday, came back, and halfway through the fence build, there was a paving company just right across the street, and we just said, hey, are you open to knock out this driveway? Because again, COVID and contractors, if you need to get something done, you gotta make it happen now. So we asked them to do that, and we got a driveway, which was pretty nice because I didn't actually think that we would get a driveway for probably the next year or 2 years, just because it was not really a priority. The driveway that we had, and there's a bunch of roots and stuff like in there, but it was okay. It was fine. It was like half gravel, half paved, but got a nice driveway for the business. It looks incredible. The rest of November was just working on the fencing, getting the fence up. That was a ton of fun. And really getting the property. One thing that was kind of crazy about this property is I think we had a lot of people turning around in our driveway, and I know that doesn't sound like a big deal, but these individuals weren't actually turning around in the driveway. They were just kind of pulling in and then just hanging out on their cell phone for a minute and then leaving. So wanted to kind of stop that questionable activity and get the property just a little bit more secure. So once we did that, once we finished up the fence project, I decided to put in a automatic gate. That was a really cool project. Got to get back into some electronics and circuits, putting that together, so that was a lot of fun. We had a good time watching that, and then December 5th came around and I performed my last DJ performance at a wedding, and we had a great time. Awesome bride and groom, really fun crowd. Just an awesome way to close out a decade of DJing. Bittersweet, but you know, it's always a good time to move on from something after you've done it for a while. I do have one last wedding next year. That is next May, so that's the last one on the books. I'm filming that wedding. DJ Kevin is DJing, and yeah, we're gonna have a great time and just to close it out. But it's really cool to go back and look at all these memories through the past year. I used to do like a little video, and I took all my weddings off my iPhone and kind of compiled them into like a little snapshot of the last little year in review of all the weddings. But it's what I kind of wanted to do with this video. Obviously, into December, spent time with friends and family and enjoyed Christmas. I hope you guys enjoyed Christmas with your family, wherever you're at watching this. And I'm gonna go ahead and close out this video. I'm excited for next year. I wanna wish everyone a happy new year, and I'll see you guys next year.